Hello, I'm your host, Kadin,
And I'm your co-host, Adam.
and welcome back to Unfiltered and Rediscovered. Today we are talking about adapting to change, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, tidy. So the reason why we kind of picked this topic, to be honest, we set this up a couple weeks ago, and there's a bunch of stuff with YouTube and everything that we had to fight through, but we are back, and so
Than ever.
exactly back in black, dog.
You black.
Oh boy. So yeah, no. I guess if we wanted, we could just kind of introduce with why we thought this would be a good topic today, and that sort of stuff. Like if you have any thoughts on it, on what was, I think kind of how it applies for me right now is the last couple episodes I haven't been doing that hot, and yesterday we had a really good conversation on just life and everything, and it kind of came to the realization of like, well, what's more warranted or what's more beneficial, because we've talked about going into a business together someday, and we were debating like the financial gain and the financial like stability and stuff versus the emotional and physical disconnect from our families. Like missing sporting events, missing dance recitals, missing school events, whatever it may be, because we have to work. And it kind of hit me that like, and it has before, parents, mom and dad for me were really good at not letting us see if we were struggling or if we weren't. And we weren't ever struggling super hard by any means. And we also weren't living on the hill. We did have what we wanted for the most part and what we needed always. And so it was just kind of some appreciation I got. And a dude at a meeting today shared something, and he was talking about how he had realized that he was in a hotel room with all of this shit with him. Money, women, drugs, whatever. And he felt completely fucking alone. And he just left. And walked for days. Because he was wigging out. And, I mean, he had the power of drugs. And he left. And he went back to his parents' house and all that sort of stuff. And he realized that he had good, solid people with him from the start. And he had walked away from that. And I started crying before that stuff even started. And then he shared, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, why am I tearing up? And it hit me like a ton of bricks that, you know, it just reaffirmed the appreciation I have for them and stuff like that. And then also with putting myself in certain situations and realizing that I am the cause of the situation I am in. And adapting to that type of change, I'm finally starting to come around again, slowly but surely. And so with that, if you have anything to add, by all means, or we can get into questions.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. We, for the most part, we didn't really know we were struggling. And then we got into school, and you could see the hand-me-down clothes, the old sneakers. I didn't know this till recently. My mom used to cut us out like little action figures out of cardboard for us to play with. And for us, we were just having fun with our toys. We didn't see the extent of it until mom started working 2 jobs and we were making ourselves dinner and the pantries were empty and type of shit. But it wasn't something we either ever really had to worry about. And if it weren't for like the help with family and everything that we got coming out here, it definitely would have been a different story. I've heard of 16, 17-year-olds paying for the electric bill, paying for the gas, and we never had to do that. You know, my mom was always able to take care of it, so that appreciation is massive, absolutely.
Absolutely. And so with that, we'll get into questions. Sorry, our table broke, so...
Yeah, no more foot up. While he's pulling that up, I think what kind of brought this topic into my head is I don't think either of us really had a idea of what we wanted to do. There wasn't anything that kind of shouted, blared. But change is a constant in life. Change will always be there. Will always be things that need to be adapted to and overcome. So I thought, fuck it, let's see what we can come up with that. I haven't ever sat down with Clyde or worked on any tools as far as like change goes. So this is a lot more, I guess, off the dome for me than anything that I've sat down and discussed before. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Mine too. And like, disclaimer, I am physically and emotionally exhausted. So there will be tears from me this episode. I'm already calling it. Place your bets in the comments on when they come.
Well, that's funny because this is the first day this weekend I'm not physically or emotionally exhausted.
Mm-hmm. So question number one I had were, what have been some of the biggest changes, good and bad, you've experienced in life?
In life? Well,
We
I think...
can go before, we can go after, however you want to go with it.
What do you mean before and after?
Like before, quit, like settling into your work with Clyde and all of that. Basically like Adam 1.0 and Adam 2.0 or Kadin 1.0, Kadin 2.0, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. We'll just start back, I guess. I think biggest change was when my dad left when I was 8. It had been a long time coming. He would pack all his shit up, throw it in the car, and go sit in front of the house for hours. And then Mom would get off work, and he'd come back inside and pretend like nothing happened, and we'd just all be sitting there staring out the window. So that it wasn't a surprise by any means, but it definitely was a change. We stayed in North Carolina, but we moved to this pretty decent sized house with a massive garage and a huge driveway in the back. And I don't really remember anything that happened around that time in my life. That was like 9, 10, something like that. I do know I ran away a lot. It was at least a weekly occurrence. I was running away. And up the street from us, there was a hole in a fence to a church. And I found a way on top of that, or Caleb found it. One of us found a way on top of that church. So I just go up there and sit for 5-6 hours and just hang out there. And then after a while, my mom would get the neighborhood involved, and I'd see neighbors and friends and shit walking around looking for me. Eventually after that, I don't really remember the context. Oh, well, that was something different. That wasn't me running away. I don't even remember what led up to it, but at one point I pulled a knife on my mom in the kitchen. And that's when I went to the mental hospital. And at the time, North Carolina had a 1 week minimum. So I was there for a week, and I don't remember much that happened there. It was definitely, it felt a lot more of a uniform existence than the one out here did. Maybe that was just because I was young. I don't really know. And I'd say the next big change was moving out to North Carolina. My stepdad at the time, he and my mom met on a Mormon dating app. So if that doesn't shoot up red flags, I don't know what will. But when he would come out and go and play baseball with me, and I don't know the extent that he got to know my brothers, but I know that he spent a lot more time getting to know me. And then the second we moved out here, he just didn't want anything to do with any of us. Barely talked to us, would yell at us. It was just like a complete flip of a switch as soon as we were out here. So 2, maybe 3 years later, I was 12 years old. I moved into New York with my grandparents. And we were in I think it was Columbia housing, some student housing. So it was loud. There were always drunk teenagers on the weekends. It was kind of funny. But that was another big change. And then I moved back out here, and I was going to church at the time because I wanted to. And so that's where I made all my friends, was in the LDS religion. And I stuck with that crew for all of junior high, a good portion of through high school. Um, and there wasn't a whole lot of change going on at that time, but it was still kind of the waves crashing from everything else. Um, and then high school, I start dating this girl that was in our friend group. We started kind of like flirting at the end of ninth grade, so back in junior high still. And then throughout the summer, we would hang out. And in high school, when high school started, we started officially dating. And I don't know exactly what it was. I think a big part of it was the fact that I wasn't going to church anymore, but her friends hated me. They'd call me a druggie and a dropout and this, that, and the other thing. And so one day I just kind of got fed up and I was like, all right, if that's really what you guys think of me, I feel like if I sit here, you guys are just going to be whispering into her ear. Eventually she's going to start listening more and more and more. And I just didn't want to deal with it. So I broke up with her, and that was another kind of adjustment. But that led me into started smoking. My managers at the time, I'd hang out with them while they smoked. They'd smoke after we closed, and I just kind of chill with them. But a little bit after that is when I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll take a hit. And I remember there was one day we closed early, and I knew my mom was gonna be up, and I was like, fuck, I can't go home with red eyes. One of them was like, I got eye drops in the car, just go grab them. So I go grab his eye drops, and I go to put them in, and I start crying. And I'm crying for like 5-10 minutes trying to put these eye drops in. And they're like, dude, fucking man up and put them in or go home. But I'm leaving. And so I think it was the same night I started driving home and it started raining. And I couldn't convince myself that there weren't shadow people trying to break into my car. And I was like, I know this isn't real, but I also can't get rid of it. So I pulled off and slept it off in a church parking lot until like 2 in the morning.
Holy shit.
And then just went home.
Bro, you're lucky.
Yeah, right? No, that's my other worry was getting pulled up on when I was like, cops or shadow people. I think I'm going to stick with the cops.
At least they're real.
Exactly. At least they're real. At least I can fight them if I need to. No, not really. Don't ever fight police. Yeah, and that was Oh yeah, and then right before COVID hit, there were whispers of it. Things weren't shutting down. They were talking about going into martial law. They were talking about putting martial law into effect. That's crazy. I completely forgot about that. When COVID first blew up, they were going to lock down streets.
Yep.
They were going to put a curfew, like a strict curfew. If you're not driving from work, you can't be out. I got in a fight with my mom, and she, at the end of it, she was like, if it's so hard to live here, just leave. I was like, all right. And I packed my shit up and I left. So that was another big change. I was 17 at the time and I moved in with the girl that I was dating. I was working HVAC already for her dad, so saves me a drive in the morning. So that was another kind of like transition to change, I suppose. And then I was there for 2 years, year and a half, 2 years, something like that. I was working HVAC for a year and a half, so I was there for about a year and a half. And her dad was just a dick. He just take a middle school bully that never grew up, and that was him. He was smart. He was a good teacher, but I couldn't live with him and work with him. Mm-hmm. I just couldn't do both. And living at the house up there, I got another like glimpse of that. It's just not smart to live and work with people.
No, it's very, very intense.
And so I went to her and I was like, I need your help quitting. Like, I can't live with him and work with him, and I need you to support me in this. And she said she couldn't do it. So same type of deal. I packed my shit up and left. I was like, all right, I'm tired of being berated 20 hours a day. So we're going to get out of there. And I went and moved in with my buddy, which I think I have is okay to say his name here, but I can't remember, so we'll just leave it. And I lived there for a while, but that was a tense house. It was him, 4 sisters. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was 4 or 5 sisters. And his wife was dating this dude that was awaiting. He was out on bail, I believe, and he was awaiting a trial date. And I believe he had been in jail before for it, for taking pictures and blackmailing his ex-wives and ex-girlfriends with pictures of them naked. And you had girls ranging from the age of like 4 to 17 in this house. And it was just a tense situation. We had some good times. It's where both of us beat the Path of Pain and Hollow Knight. We were up so late doing that shit. But we had some good times. And then after that house, I moved in with my mom, where I got kicked out for weed, if you believe it.
Imagine that.
Right? She does more drugs than me these days. Crazy how our perspectives shift. She uses them responsibly, and she uses them well. But yeah, definitely more often than I do, which is funny. It's so funny looking back. And then let's see, where do we go from there? Oh yeah, I was about to say the city we're in, but my apartment's just right there, right across the street from the police station where I started. I think that was probably my next big change. As far as like family wise, it was fairly consistent throughout all this. Moved back in at one point, but we hadn't had a relationship in 6-7 years, so there wasn't a whole lot there. From my perspective, I think I got invited to join a session once, but aside from that, it was, hey, will you hide my bong? Will you grab my bong out of the attic? Kind of a deal. And there was small ups and downs, but I rolled with the same crew at school up until high school. Up until that point, we kind of split off a little bit earlier. One guy had some girl problems, which sounds like he's still struggling with, crazy enough. The same girl from junior high, yeah. She's just lodged in his brain. She's just stuck in there, and he can't find a way past it. Embedded.
Understandable.
You get a little bit of piece of that. You didn't go psychotic, as far as I'm aware, to the level that he did. So that kind of like broke us apart a little bit. Some of us were still cool. And then now I brought it up. I don't know if I want to air that dirty laundry. Yeah, we'll leave that off the air. We'll leave that off the internet for now. You can ask me about it after if you want. But I lived with another one of my buddies in this bountiful house. And truthfully, looking back, I stuck my nose where it shouldn't have. But he was dating this girl, and she was just innocent. She was just kind of making her way through life, figuring things out. And he just kept lying to her, and I was like, dude, I'm not gonna lie for you. Like, say whatever you want to say, but I won't be your alibi. Like, I'm tired of witnessing this. Mm-hmm. And then it got to the point that I was like, dude, either you're gonna say something or I am. But she's coming over here 2-3 times a week, and I just gotta sit there and pretend that I don't know this, and I'm not okay with it, which wasn't my place. I should have found a way to just butt out, you know.
Debatable.
So, I mean,
it's okay though. Continue.
There's other steps. I could have stopped giving him weed. I could have made changes to our relationship instead of making changes to their relationship.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
And even after, we weren't like enemies or anything. There was one week I remember he was really, really struggling. Oh, I took him up. We took his car up above the lettering right there, up into the mountain a little bit, and he just like screamed it out. He just needed an afternoon, right? We went back to not talking a whole lot. Honestly, kind of similar to how the last couple of months with this other guy was living here. What?
Fuck it, we'll say, bro. Homie pulled up to the yard sale yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, he came and bought something, and I like talked to him. I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Da, 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 da. And I mean, it was short and sweet, but
yeah,
he seems to be doing okay.
Good. He probably wouldn't have pulled up if it weren't for that social media presence, baby.
From yours truly, thank you, Q.
Oh, yeah. And then after that, that's when I moved up to that house. And we've talked enough about that house. I realize that as I'm talking, this is all about moving places I've lived. And that definitely has a lot to do with change. But there's no way it's all of it. I guess the reason that that's what I'm focusing on is most of that time I was depressed.
Mm-hmm.
I was just the exact same. Nothing really changed. Everything was bland and dull. And it was, yeah. It was just another day on another day on another day, throw in a suicide attempt there every year or two, and just continued and continued on like that. So I feel like until I met Clyde, most of what changed was where I was living.
Scenery.
Yeah, where I was at, interacting with different people. But at the time, it just felt like another person, I guess. Maybe, probably less so when I moved in with that girl I was dating. I think that changed a little bit just because I guess it was one of the first times I had focus. Right, like I was working blue collar. I was putting long hours in, making good money. Well, making good money, and then COVID hit, and then you can make more flipping burgers. Yeah, and then I think the next change after that house would have been Mallory and.
I was waiting for that. I was gonna be like, "Hey, yo, you're forgetting something, there, pal." But
and I think
I knew you'd get to it.
Probably the best change in my life. All the up and downs, the she made me wait and then I made her wait. And then I went out to Texas. Texas was a big one. I spent 2 months getting ready for Texas, doing this sales pitch, going to the gym 3-4 hours a day. And then when I got back from Texas, just felt like I didn't have a purpose. It felt like there wasn't any reason for anything that I was doing. I was just moving. Which I guess that's the same way I lived life when I was depressed, but I wouldn't say I was depressed. I don't remember how much I started smoking when I came back, truthfully. Definitely not as much as I used to. I think I had gotten it out of my system. I would like smoke a little bit, smoke every once in a while, but it wasn't the call to it wasn't really there. It wasn't something I ever felt like I needed, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I got a frog in my throat. Just kidding. That's what cigarettes do to you. I can't even pretend to know. I don't know what it's from.
Yeah, that's a good guess. So, kind of what I got off of that were the changes in scenery and stuff. Yeah. I only heard really one good change. And not a whole lot of. There was a lot of changes of scenery, which is good. And those do play a part. I feel like there's something missing. The good change of Mallory, and we said homeboy's name.
Probably.
So it's okay, we'll go back. Anyway, sorry. So the change of Mallory and homeboy, is definitely a positive one. And bro, like, you didn't mention school. You didn't mention working now. You didn't mention all that's brought you, the financial security, all of that. And I'm not trying to tell you what's important, what's not important. I'm just giving an observation. And the bad of, getting into I wouldn't even necessarily call it addiction, because you're more level-headed with it than I am. Getting into that sort of stuff, the suicide attempts, all of that, I would classify into the negative changes. And so, like, with that, with the good changes, how did you adapt to those good changes? What coping skills did you use or not use, or whatever? What feelings did you have towards them? That sort of stuff. So, like, Mallory, homeboy, and whatever you want to add or not.
Yeah. First, I guess the reason I think they weren't brought up is, and it's not the way that it should be seen, but the way that I see positive things in my life are like, great, we have that, we did that, that's there. Awesome. You know, they're not really things that I guess I dwell on or focus on.
Celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as adapting to those good changes that are there, truthfully, I don't know. Because I guess I see them as the good changes are what I got for finally figuring out how to adapt. My relationship being where it is now is because me and Mallory took the time to figure out how to communicate, how to talk, how to have a healthy relationship, you know? And the job that I have now is because I figured out, I guess, that I wanted to do something more than flipping burgers. Not that there's any shame in those jobs, but they're jobs that only take a few people any higher. Only take a few people where they want to be. You got to want to run your own store. You got to want to do something with managing farther in the future, or you got to want to run a business, right? There's so few things, those skills learned making ice cream, flipping burgers, you'll fucking kill it at a barbecue. But those rotor skills, there's not a vast amount of jobs that can apply to, right? If you continue on to culinary school, great, right? But after culinary school, are you going to put I was at McDonald's for 6 years, or are you going to put I graduated culinary school first, right? Like, those jobs in and of themselves, there's not very many avenues that they lead to. Right? It's out there. It's definitely out there. If you're working one of those jobs, there's no shame to it. Make your bank account. Try to find how you can progress from that. Try to find how you can utilize it. If you can't utilize it, get the fuck out. Do something that'll set you up for the future, right? And I've been in the trenches. Like, no question, I'd rather work 12-hour days doing hard labor than going and working at McDonald's again or Wendy's again, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's not easy. It is hard work, right? But back on topic, with the job that I have now, I tried dashing. I tried McDonald's. This, that, the other thing. And so I see those things, and I will answer your question on how I adapted to them, because it's a very valid question, but I've seen them more as what I got from adapting, right? So that is a really good question.
So then what I kind of heard, if you don't mind if I jump in for one sec, because I've got to get this off my mind before I forget it. So you were talking about Maori specifically, and it was like, oh, we took time to learn how to communicate and do those things and took it slow. And is it like a by the book coping skill?
What do you mean?
Like, is it like a coping skill by a Webster's dictionary definition?
Is what?
So taking the time to learn how to communicate and those sorts of things.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not exactly, but it's a skill.
Yeah.
Like you pumped the brakes, you took time to learn how to talk, you figured out if it was right for both of you, you did all those things. So that's definitely something you did to help adapt to that, or that you adapted for that good change. And so I guess also the second thought I had is it's kind of like the way you broke it down isn't something I really thought of. And it kind of makes me think like the chicken or the egg, like which came first? Like, did the change come first or did the adapting come first? Because if you hadn't have adapted, the change might not have happened.
I guess it depends on how far back you want to go.
Situational.
Yeah, it's really situational. Like, obviously, if I hadn't adapted, if Mallory hadn't adapted, we would have, well, since she has a kid, we probably just would have ended up nothing happening. Back in high school, we probably would have ended up in jail. But, I mean, if you go back far enough, I would argue that the change happened first. Because otherwise, what are you adapting to? What is there?
That's kind of where I lean to.
Yeah.
So with that, it's like, okay, so what you use to adapt to that good change is taking time and patience. So patience and communication.
I think those are two foundations for life. And I guess I kind of had a thought that I guess does kind of tie in. I think another foundation for life is confidence. Because very truthfully, in those times where I need to adapt, I know that I'm not going to sink. I know that in this lifetime I will never sink, but the only way that I can do that is if I believe in myself. And I'm very lucky to have Mallory there for those times that I struggle and those times that I don't believe in myself. But as long as I have that belief, whether it feels real or not, as long as I can look in the mirror and tell myself that it's there, the adapting is just something that will happen. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And so now, let's see where I wanted to go with that. Sorry, I was writing down what tools you used or whatever so that I didn't forget them at the end, because we'll talk about that later. How did you feel about those good ones while they were fresh? So those good changes, like, what did you feel like?
Didn't acknowledge them. Not for a second. Yeah, it was just something that happened. I think that, I don't know, it was this weird shift going from nothing matters, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago, nothing matters except what I let matter, what I choose to have matter. But even towards the beginning of that, even when I changed kind of that like mindset of nothing matters, everything was still just another thing. You know, I mean, I guess that still rings very, very true at work. I'm paid the same $19 no matter what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So at the end of the day, do I really care what I'm doing? Yeah, it's frustrating when we run 100 feet of Romex and it has to be taken out. When we put in an SER and they're like, oh, you need to move that. That panel has to shift for his ductwork. It's frustrating. So what? You know, and so at work, most things are kind of in that wheelhouse of like, doesn't matter.
You got it, boss.
Yeah. And it's one thing that me and Clyde have talked about, and I haven't done my homework on celebrating and focusing the positives. But it's definitely gotten better over time. I can confidently say that. But for the most part, yeah. But for the most part, it's just something off the list. I got something done that I wanted to accomplish, and I have 500 more things to accomplish.
It kind of reminds me. So last night I was just scrolling through YouTube and I saw this Jelly Roll clip from a podcast that I really like. And he was talking. They asked him what's his biggest fear. And he like started to get kind of emotional. And he's like, I don't know if I want to be this transparent. And he's like, my biggest fear is losing it all. Because once you've had nothing, in the beginning, when I had nothing, and then I got a little something, it was like, oh, I'll go back to nothing in a heartbeat, whatever. Like, I know that. And then you get something, and he was like, the relationship with my family has never been better. The relationship with my wife has never been better. Obviously, financials are better. And he was like, and he called it like the fear of like living in inevitable doom or something. There was a very specific term for it, and I wish I could remember it, but I can't. And I almost didn't bring this up because I can't remember the term. But it's that when things are going good, you brace. Because you're like, okay, when is this going to get fucked up? Like, this is going to get fucked up. When is it going to happen? And you just live like that. You're just constantly clenched. And then it doesn't happen. And it just keeps building and building and building.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. Did life kicking you in the dick stop? Or did you adapt and learn how to keep moving with being kicked in the dick and hold on to those things that you have?
You adapted and you kept moving. Otherwise, you wouldn't still have them. You know, blowing up like that doesn't hurt, though. And,
yeah, no, absolutely. But just while you were talking, I was sitting there and thinking, I mean, I guess the reason that isn't a fear in my head, and maybe it comes once I've created my business and I'm financially set and stable and good. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. But the reason I guess that I feel like I haven't worried about that, and there definitely was in the beginning, right? Especially moving into this apartment. But the reason that I guess I don't worry about it is because I know that where I am right now, there will be a time in my future where life sucks more. I can either lose it all, or I can learn how to adapt to it, like we're talking about today, and I can learn how to keep rolling with it and keep moving with it.
Absolutely. And so part of the reason why I brought that up was just to like, kind of in a way I felt like it applied, because not celebrating the things and just being like, oh, well, you know, it's work. I get paid the same no matter what I'm doing, right? Like, and I know you've expressed how much you like it, and even those things that are annoying, I do feel like you enjoy. You're not like, oh my gosh, this is the most fun thing in the world, blah, blah, blah. But like, it's not turning you, or you're not like that. And so you're not like, this is the worst thing in the world. And you're also still saying, hey, it's not scaring me away. Mm-hmm. It's something I still want to do.
Yeah, I enjoy it and I want to keep with it. But
exactly.
I'm not going to be on job sites in 20 years. Like, that is a promise I can make. I will not be on job sites in 20 years. If I end up having a construction business, I'll go and bid them. My guys need help, I'll go help my guys. But I'm not spending 8 to 10 hours on job sites anymore, you know? So it's, I guess, just that. Oh, Jesus, I'm so sorry. I don't know what you said that got me thinking about that. But yeah, I'm always going to be moving and trying to and expand.
Absolutely.
I lost my train of thought.
No,
I
you're all
am.
good.
Are you okay if I text Mallory to bring my coffee in here so I stop yawning?
Yeah, that's fine, dude. And it's contagious. I've been yawning the whole time, so you're chilling. And I'm on my phone. We are apologetic. Today is thrown together. It's not thrown together, but I'm very tired and you are the same. And now my meds alarm is going off, so that's fun. Now talking about the bad changes, quote unquote bad, or the good ones rather, that happened. What are some of the strategies and skills and stuff that you use to adapt to the negatives?
I just had a thought, and it doesn't directly ask your question, so ask it again and I'll answer it. But as we've been talking about this more, I have been trying to analyze and break down, how I adapt with change, obviously. I mean, I should probably have that in my head since that's the topic of today. But I guess I've just been thinking deeper on it, and I realized that these good, positive changes, I don't see coming. I don't expect them. And I think the flip side of that coin is the negative changes. Like, dude, I got out of that house so quickly because I was looking and I was planning and I was waiting for a way out of this lease. And then Mr. Silly Salamander decided that he wanted to hand one to me over text. If you're going to threaten someone's life, thank you, love, don't do it over text. Don't do it with proof of the threat. They have your balls in their hand. But I had been planning for it and ready for it. So as soon as it happened, I was able to jump into action. Right? And I think that, like my car accident, I went straight into planning mode. And so I think for me,
I'm just kidding.
Fuck
Sorry.
you.
My bad.
Both, motherfucker. I went down to Texas to door-to-door sales, got in an accident on the way down there. Homie pulled his trailer out in front of me. One of my goals for being in Texas was get some real Southern hospitality. He said, hey, my wife is making dinner. You want to come have some dinner and get a shower? I was like, sounds good. We go down there, we're eating. He's like, you can store your car on my son's ranch while you're trying to figure out insurance. I was like, sounds good. So I had some amazing food, took a shower, slept for 5 hours, and left. Got some real Southern hospitality right there.
Bro, you got what you wanted. Careful what you wish for.
Oh, yeah. No, but I guess just for me personally, and obviously we're all going to learn to adapt differently, but what my little bit of tism does is it lets me run down avenues. It lets me plan. It lets me think. And so I guess that's really what I utilize when I'm trying to adapt is one, not letting the change sneak up on me, and two, trying to find the most direct route to get out of it, which isn't always the best answer as I'm learning. I've been having some great conversations with my grandpa recently. And he told me today, he said that one quality of great leaders is not that they make quick decisions, but they wait to make their decision so they can look at the different avenues and look at the different options and see not just the first one that works, but the best one for the situation. Mm-hmm. Right? And Mom, if you're watching this, when me and him had that conversation about gray thinking, he told me you know what that meant. I did tell him, if it means anything, my mom has talked to me about that a couple of times. So the original credit is to you. He was just the one that brought it up recently.
Fair enough.
And what was your question that I didn't actually answer?
No, it's all good. The question was, so now that we've talked about the positive changes, we'll put them that way. Positive changes and coping skills, feelings, all of that. Going to the harder changes, the negative changes, how did you adapt and what coping skills, tools, whatever, did you use to adapt to those changes?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing that I would say was was my internal confidence. There's always been some fire in me that, I don't know, never really got put out. It definitely got suppressed at times. But I've seen people whose brains think similar to mine just get destroyed by the American school system, right? Completely suppressed and shut up. And I feel like I would play the good soldier for a lot of it. You know, I'll do it your way. I'll do it the long, tedious route. Sit there thinking, okay, well, I could have been done already, but here we are. But that belief and reassurance to myself that this can be figured out, right? And that, obviously, that doesn't bring you any answers, right? That just keeps you from drowning. So I think that would be like the first level, the first thing for me is, this is making way too much noise. I need to stop playing with that. But is that firm belief that I will always swim. And I think something that you and Mallory have really opened my eyes to is fucking relying on other people. In those moments, I truly believe that our burdens are never too heavy for us to carry. I don't particularly believe in God, but I do believe that we are only given as much as we can deal with. But in those moments that it feels like it is too much, say something. You don't even have to ask for help. Just say something. Lean on the people that are there to support you. And if you need some help pushing past the feeling bad, if they don't enjoy or if they aren't willing to support you, you don't want them around you anyway. Right? If whatever sacrifice, staying up till 11:30 off 4 hours of sleep to help organize some clothes and shit isn't worth it to that person, fuck them. So you'll either give them the opportunity to choose how much you mean to them, or you'll give them the opportunity to show that you don't need them, that they won't have your back the way that someone should have your back, right? So I think leaning on people is strong as well. And I think the other part to it is just finding people that you can be honest with, right? I think, and it's not all the reason, but a big part of the reason I don't talk about my shit all that much. And a big part of it comes from that belief that I know that I'll figure it out. But in those moments where I'm struggling to figure it out, if I don't vocalize, if I don't talk to you, if I don't talk to Mallory, I'm just going to sit there spinning my wheels, right? It's just going to go around and around and around and around. So even if you're not looking for solutions or any direct support, just talk about it. Just vocalize it. And remember that things are only as heavy as we allow them to be.
Absolutely.
It's really easy to make a mountain out of a molehill. It takes more training and more dedication, but I believe it can be equally easy to make a molehill out of a mountain. You know, it might take you a little bit longer, but at the end of the day, it'll still just be a step.
For real. And you're talking about leaning on people and stuff like that and reaching out for help, and I just wanted to talk on that for a second. And having somebody to support you no matter what, like, one of the biggest things, the thing I was talking with my sponsor about on the way before I came over, one of the last things I said was just so fucking lonely. And that's understandable. Like, everyone wants a significant other, a person, a whatever that may look like, a woman for me. And he was like, okay, well, are you ready for that though? And I was like, I mean, no. Physically, mentally, emotionally, no. And leaning on others, and it kind of made me think, because it really wasn't a problem. Like, it was bad. I was looking at people. I was window shopping for sure. You were making jokes about it. I was able to stay away from it though for a long time, really until the last 3-4 months.
What changed?
If I had to say anything, the first thing that popped into my head was me, obviously. And then the second thing was the level of confidence, not self-confidence, but confidence I had in my sobriety and in all of that. I was like, oh, I got this. I'm good. I don't really feel like using anymore. So why can't I start? Like, I've made this better version of myself. I'm not 100%. Nobody is. I'm not there. Like, I'm still a little emotionally bankrupt, a little spiritually bankrupt, all that sort of stuff. But I was ready. And you know what else changed? I was leaning on you. I had you there all the time. And I'm not throwing shots, anything like that, because I'm a big boy and I can make my own decisions, and I make my own decisions. Went from us hanging out, 3-4 times a week, talking on the phone for hours a day. And yesterday was our longest phone call in probably like a fucking month and a half, 2 months. And I stopped leaning on you. And I was still there. Like, I was still wanting to and things, and I was always honest. I'll always be honest with you. I just needed trust that you were there more. And not one person can hold any one person up. They can prop them, but they can't hold them. And with Homeboy and with working and all of that, you outgrew me. And it's not like a shot. It's I'm not doing the work. I'm not growing alongside you. I'm staying stagnant. And you're up here. Or somewhere here, right? Like, it's just like life is moving around.
I do understand what you're saying. I don't have better words. I think we should try to reframe that though.
Absolutely.
Because, working little homie, I'm up here. Dude, my personal growth has been worse than yours recently. You're still going to meetings. You're still meeting with your sponsor. I had my first call with Clyde in over a month today. Or yesterday.
Yeah, and you know what else I realized while you were talking about Clyde? I was like, I can't remember the last time I asked him about how that's going.
Well, I have a question for you, though. As you've noticed, like when I started working this job, I think is when our distance, or our emotional distance definitely started. But especially we were spending less time together. What positive changes have you seen in your life since that happened?
If I'm being honest, none.
Okay, then you need to look harder.
So, like, I know I'm looking harder right now because there's something. The positive change, I guess it's not a change. I've stayed sober. I've learned lessons. My sponsor was talking to me a lot about that today, and he was like, well, so what did you learn from the experience we talked about? Other girl, life. Like, I'm going to go on it very, very briefly. Accepted a moving gig on Friday. Was a bunch of shit. Didn't know it was going to be a bunch of shit. Was there 6 hours. Got paid $100. Blah, 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 blah. Realized that all of that bitching I was doing during that moving, in my head, to my buddy, I put myself in that situation. I needed $100 so bad that I blindly accepted this gig and just said I'd be there, and then was at his will for time, amount, all of that. And my sponsor was like, okay, so what did you learn from that? And I was like, well, get a fucking job. And I was like, he's like, okay, yeah, what else did you learn? And I was like, I don't know. And he was like, well, how about the fact that before you do something, you get all the details, and then you decide whether or not this is worth $100 to you. And right now it is. I got a vape with it. I got some gas with it, whatever it may be, right? So, like, it is worth it. It sucks that it's what I have to do, but who did that?
Yeah.
So,
well, just a thought I had, that same lesson of get all the details, that translates to owning a business. How the fuck are you going to go bid a job? You don't know what's being replaced. Next thing you know, you're buying a $13,000 transfer switch out of your own pocket, right? Oh, yeah, I didn't tell you that's how much it is.
Bro, no, what the fuck?
Yeah, the small one that's already paid for, $9,000. The bigger one we're doing, $13,000 is being eaten. He's eating it.
He'll be able to use the small one on a different job, yeah? Or no?
No, we need to install both.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So he's eating the $13,000 and he doesn't even get the $9,000 back. He's just taking a $13,000 hit on his material or cost or whatever for the job. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ.
I think it was a $26,000 job.
Bro, that's half of it.
That's not profit. That's like the bid. And then, yeah, you just add another half of that bid.
Jesus. So, yeah, but sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but I'm going to bounce back. Unless you have anything else. Okay. So as far as positive changes happening, learn lessons. I've learned lessons. I've learned lots of lessons. I've learned to... Can't say that one. See you later. So I've learned that I just fuck around and find out a whole lot. And I've said it before to you. I have to learn lessons the hard way, and I don't know why. And it's not even a have to. It's a I choose to learn lessons the hard way. Because I know better. In most situations, I know better. I just want to see how close I can fly to the sun. And then if I get burned, okay, good. I know not to do that again. If I get away with it, we got one.
Yeah. Well, I think very truthfully, and maybe this goes all the way back to growing up, but very truthfully, dude, yesterday when you were talking, I was starting to get a little bit jealous. We were talking about we were getting new clothes for school. We were getting new shoes. We had new hockey gear, right? Growing up, I never saw that side of it. So for a long, long time, I guess I've been tired of feeling like I'm up shit's creek. That's maybe most of my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when something happens that puts me up shit's creek, there's just this firm, no questions asked, this will not happen again. Something else might happen to put me in a similar spot, but this will not happen again.
Yeah.
And I've definitely lost out on some experiences because of that, right? I've been like, oh, I've seen it go down like this, so we're not even going to touch that. So there's definitely some drawbacks to how I approach it, right? But I think that there's a difference. We've talked before about you are going to be given the same thing again and again and again until you fucking learn it, right? There might be 3, 4, 5 lessons at a time Harry Potter's trying to teach you, but he's going to give you the same lesson again and again. And we see that true with girls, right? To throw you right under that bus and press on the gas for you.
Yep. Yeah, that was gonna be the change that I was gonna talk about. Was like, oh, well, we learned to stay away from girls, and no, not quite yet.
But then that's fine. If you haven't learned it, that's fine. You'll get kicked in the dick with it again. I guarantee it.
I know I will.
And if you don't, I thought I was gonna get kicked in the dick with Mallory, and I ended up not. So I'll take it. But at the same time, the reason I didn't is because I had learned previous lessons, right?
And not only learn the lesson, but internalize the lesson. Because I can learn plenty of lessons. It's whether or not I internalize it.
So should we differentiate between I can be shown lessons and I can internalize them?
Yeah,
we Does that make sense? Shown. Like you can be shown them and see them, and this has happened. Yeah, this happened quite a bit with Clyde. We'll talk about something, and I'll be like, "Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense," and I'll do nothing about it. And he's much more patient with it than I know I am. But I'll come back to him, and I would not be surprised if at one point he's like, "Dude, weren't you just fucking talking to me about this? Didn't we just go through this?" Right? I'm not a patient person when it comes to people coming to me with stuff like that.
I'm messing with the cord. My knee is freaking killing me.
Coming up, last big question or two. And I'm down to keep going if you want to keep going, truthfully.
You can do whatever.
I think this is the most I've ever talked, but
yeah,
I feel bad for the
you're
watcher.
Good. Honestly. Womp womp.
Womp womp. Kidding. We doing this for us or we doing this for them?
Absolutely.
We still love you guys.
That's hot.
That means we got to end it right there, black screen.
No way, Jose. Okay, so now if we can remember negative changes, how did we feel about negative changes while they were still fresh?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd say for most of my life, why the fuck is this happening to me? 100% victim. No questions asked.
Oh boy.
No questions asked. Past 2 years though, it's just been an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to be better, an opportunity to become a better version of myself.
An opportunity to learn.
We'll be right back. There's still glass on my floor, so I'm gonna pick it up before I step in it.
Oh boy, where? Up your ass. Oh Jesus. You lucky bastard. Adam's back there fucking vaping off camera. You rat bastard. I'm going to. I'm so jealous. I reached down for my water like 30 minutes ago and saw my vape and I was like, ooh, that looks good.
Welcome back.
Whoa. So I got out of the feelings that happened, or the feelings felt while the negative changes were still fresh, were why me, and then learning lessons and chalking up to experience, right?
Yeah.
Basically. Okay.
And I think the shift happened when I decided that I wanted a when I decided what my purpose was. Like we've talked about before, if it connects to my purpose, great, let's learn something. If it doesn't, fuck it. Right? So these changes that happen, for me, I strive to find a way to connect them to my purpose. How will this make me the best husband, father, and business owner?
Oh, shit. Okay, I'm so sorry. This is freaking.
He doesn't know how to work a phone. He's not as bad as me, but
I was holding down the back button and I started erasing my next question. So, why me and learning lessons and experience? Alrighty. So, the next question, last question. So, we talked about good ones, bad ones, coping skills on both, feelings on both, all that sort of stuff, right? So, we'll go over all of that and then I'll ask the question. For what have been some of the biggest changes you experienced? We talked about it. And then what you gained from that was patience from good ones, coping skills, patience, communication, and confidence. Bad coping skills were didn't acknowledge them. Or no, those were bad ones. Patience, communication, and confidence were 4 negative changes. Good changes were didn't acknowledge them.
Another step, just another fucking thing done.
Next thing. Feelings off of good ones were success, all those sort of things.
Just another thing.
Just another thing?
Yeah, as very truthfully sad as it sounds. Yep. And a sense of relief, I suppose.
So then
this recap is really scaring me.
The positive coping skills were internal confidence, bad coping skills, internal confidence, finding support, and being honest. Feelings with those were why me, learning lessons, and experiences. Seeing now how your feelings and strategies differ and are also the same. Why are they that way? Question 1. And 2, what's your best plan to adapt to change in the future?
Yeah, I knew this homie was coming in with a home run.
It was a little rough because I didn't have stuff labeled as well. So I was trying to fucking...
I think... Had a good one. And I say this as a analyzation, not an excuse, but I think they're so different because a majority of my life, I've confidently said that I've had my shit together for a year. I've probably had it together for about 2 years. And truthfully, by together, I just mean I know what I want.
You're surviving. You have an apartment. You got a car. You got that sort of shit.
Well, I'm doing more than surviving, but I don't want to do the math, 80 to 90% of my life has been survival. Whether it's trying to avoid getting hit or getting chased down, or there were definitely good times. There were good times with friends too, but the overarching has been survival. And in a survival mindset, happiness isn't the goal. Happiness isn't what's being strived for. Waking up the next day, having as few bruises as possible is the goal, right? And so I think that is what really buffers, what really stops there being any, I guess, positive acknowledgments towards the good things. And on the flip side of that, I mean, you've seen me a couple of times when I'm backed up in a corner. I fucking come out swinging. Right?
Yes, sir.
And so on the flip side of that, that's when I'm pushing, striving, trying to do the most, right? So I guess I really feel like the ideal for the future, and I don't know what it looks like because I haven't lived it, obviously. Didn't say obviously. It's not obvious because I'm just not thinking about this. But the ideal for the future is finding that middle ground. Finding somewhere in the between where the bad things are just another thing. And...
Okay. So, sorry, I don't want to... keep cooking.
Okay. I guess I should say most of the bad things are just another thing, because if it doesn't relate to my purpose, it doesn't matter. But the rest of those things are being looked at, analyzed, used to grow and be better. And the positive things are being celebrated as things that I deserve.
Absolutely. So, what I heard when you were talking about the bad things, and what I almost interrupted you, that was a positive reaction, a reaction to positive changes. So flipping it to a reaction to more negative changes is really, really interesting to me. And it's also really cool to hear you say that. Like, I shouldn't say obviously either. It makes sense. That's what I'll say. It makes sense that, shrugging off bad shit, right? It makes me feel good that might be like the first little baby step towards getting you to celebrate your fucking wins. Because, dude, like, I'm so fucking proud of you. I'm so fucking proud of you for going out and getting what you want and chasing it and wanting this life. Because I'm realizing very quickly how hard it is. And me, like, wanting to have motivation to do really anything. Like, and being pushed back into a corner and coming out swinging. Dude, I'm coming out with, like, fucking a handout. Not asking people for things. But I'm waiting for somebody to give me a connection. Or get me a foot in the door. Or whatever. It's not good. And not to deprecate on myself too much, because I am working and I am doing good things and I am making changes and I am, having positive stuff. And I'm never ever one to stroke over service. Service has been pretty strong this last little bit. And so that's something that I can lean on in things. And now getting back to you.
Okay, that's my least favorite topic.
Well, I know, and that's why I wanted to get back to it. So getting back to you, like I said, dude, I'm so fucking proud. Like, I'm so happy for you. And I'm so grateful. Like, you have no idea how much it meant to me when you fucking came the other night. Like, I couldn't express it in the car because we were both just exhausted. Like, showing up and bringing other people and, like, just being so willing to help, being the last to leave. And also, it was so much fun. It made me happy to get to bring you behind into that life. Like, to show you, for you to meet,
That basement was fucking scary, though.
The basement was fucking scary. I'm getting more comfortable. It still fucking scares me. For you to meet, homegirl and all that, and just get to meet some of my peoples. It made me very happy, and to show you around and show you things and tell you about things, like, it was really, really cool to me. And it just made me appreciate, because, like, wow, he fucking cares. Like, I've been saying, I want that unconditional love that, somebody doesn't have to tell me they love me, and it's like, it's right in front of my fucking face. Mallory doesn't let me stick it in your ass, but I'm just kidding. Fucking.
I mean, shit, I wish someone would.
Jesus Christ. But yeah,
I've been telling the dudes at work. It feels good for every guy. You just got to get past the point of awkward.
So, but yeah, no, like, it's just, I've got it right there in front of me. And even like that text last night when you were like, hey, why do you Like, if you knew where I was at, why'd you say anything? And it was just like, oh, like, he's not coming off as like a, hey, what are you doing? Or why'd you do this? Or da 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 da. It's just like a dude, like, let's unbox that. And let's look at that. And it like made me really happy because it was like, oh, you know, he cares enough to ask. He cares enough for me to open my door, like open the door and be like, hey, why do you do this? And be open and honest and have communication. And then also just be like, yeah, no, don't worry about it. Like, you're fine. And it's slowly but surely building me. And I'm just so grateful that you have been there. And
I got you, and I appreciate hearing those words.
Sure. Because, yeah, now I'm done slobbing. I said that in a meeting the other day. Somebody picked up a chip, and I was like, all right, I'm done slobbing. And everyone's just like, slobbing, what the fuck? And I was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said that in this situation. But anyway, back to topic. So adapting to change, really, I feel like you hit it on the head, and it was really cool, everything you said. And flipping those was really nice. And also, I had another little follow-up. So now with all that in mind, with your ideal strategy, what do you think would be fuck it, it's gone. Anyway.
That's a shame.
So I'll remember in post. But anyway. So yeah, I think the only thing I wanted to touch on really other than that was the why me, but we touched on it. It's victim mentality stuff. And I don't see it actively in your life right now. So it's chilling like a villain. And yeah. Adapting to change for me is just taking those lessons, internalizing them, and keep rolling with it. I feel like I'm finally starting to come back, like I said earlier. And if I can just keep that up, it'll get better. And I also can't get complacent because of this money that just hit my account. I cannot just be like, oh, I'm good for a little bit. Gotta keep pounding.
Well, not throwing shade, but that's money that wasn't supposed to be touched in the first place.
No. I am not about it.
It's better than
alternatives, but it's not good. It is not good at all. Anyway, that was a little ramble sesh with us for today. So, with that being said, this was episode 8 of Unfiltered and
or episode 2, if you haven't watched us before and are on the new YouTube channel.
Well, yeah, but we're gonna re-upload the others, yeah?
I thought we weren't doing that.
I think we will. Now that hasn't been taken down, we're chilling like a villain. And alrighty. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. So, welcome back to Unfiltered and Rediscovered. Thanks for hanging back with us today and watching a long one. And we shall see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's hot.